Hello, this video is on status and role. Status is defined as social rank. Every society establishes a system of ranking the people in that society. Status is a recognized social position. Now, status can be determined by your occupation. It can be determined by your age. It can be determined even by your gender, by your race. For instance, when we look at gender, we see there are status differences between males and females. And here's one important component of status. Status gives people privileges, okay? Because higher status, higher rankings get privileges. So let's start at a young age. Do males at a young age have any privileges over females? Actually, we find they actually do. We find, for instance, in research that parents are much more likely to allow little boys to play, say, in the backyard by themselves than they are little girls. In other words, little boys get more time on their own. They get more time to play and wander around. Now, you may not think that's that important, but that maybe plays a role later in life and sort of preparing those little boys to be more independent, because as a little child, they're allowed to be independent. Maybe it's only in the backyard, while the little girls, mommy and daddy are watching them, maybe to make sure nothing happens or they're worried about them. But still, it creates within little girls maybe a dependency more on somebody to watch and take care of them. And with males, maybe because they're given the freedom, less of a feeling that they have to be dependent on somebody. Look at this. Who starts dating at an earlier age? In many families, the boys start dating at an earlier age. Many families, the boys can stay out later. And in many families, the boys don't have to bring their date home to get the approval of the parents, but very often the females have to bring their date home. So males get more privileges. Now, this can also apply to other things like occupations. We have some occupations that are ranked very high and some that are ranked very low. Now, what do you think is an occupation that's very often ranked very high? Any guesses out there? Don't hear any answers. Medical doctor. Very often, medical doctor is one of the highest ranked, if not highest ranked occupations in American society. Other high ranked occupations would be research scientists, people in the foreign service like ambassadors, lawyers are ranked high. Of course, social workers, we do the ranking. Sociologists are ranked high. Social workers are ranked above the middle, but not as high as a sociologist are. In the middle, you would find people in the police department, journalists, people in the fire department. And what kind of jobs do you think you might find ranked low in terms of status? Generally, jobs that don't require many skills, what they call unskilled jobs. Maybe janitors, maybe maids, people who pick crops in the fields. And the lowest ranked job, actually, status-wise, is shoe shine person. You don't see very many shoe shine persons. Now, for every status, there's a role. And what a role is the behavior expected by virtue of that status. What does that mean? It means if you hold this status, you're supposed to behave a certain way. So, for instance, if you're a medical doctor, we expect medical doctors to behave a certain way. We expect medical doctors to dress a certain way. We expect medical doctors to act a certain way. When you come in to see a medical doctor, you expect him or her to not wear what I'm wearing, a Rolling Stones concert shirt. We expect males to behave a certain way. So right now, a giant cucaracha comes crawling in here. I can't jump and scream. I can't yell. I have to go, oh, giant cucaracha, and not act like I'm afraid because I'm a male. In other words, what happens with every status is we have a role, and that role says, well, you have to behave a certain way. So if you're a male, you got to act this way. If you're a female, you got to act that way. If you're a doctor or a lawyer, you got to act that way. If you're somebody's son or daughter or a parent or a boyfriend or a girlfriend, you have to act that way. And that gets to one of the topics on your Unit 4 handout, which is how do status and role limit individuality? Well, they limit individuality in the sense that the role that's attached to every status tells you have to behave a certain way. And people very often expect you to behave that way. They say, hey, look, you're a teacher. What are you doing dressing with this shirt on? You're giving a lecture, you got a shirt on, you don't have a coat and tie. Or somebody says, hey, you're married and you have 2 children. You can't go out and party. You're supposed to be home and be a good parent, Or you're a doctor. Imagine you walk into a doctor's office and the doctor says, hey, how's it going, guy? And he's wearing cutoffs and he's got a t-shirt on or something. You expect the doctor to act and dress a certain way. So status and role limit our individuality because when people see us, they say, hey, that's your role. You got to behave that way. For instance, you students, I bet a lot of you, if you live at home, your parents say, hey, you're a student. I expect you to stay home and study and not go out and mess around and party because you're playing the role of student, and the role of student requires that you study. One other thing about status and roles I want to mention is called ascribed statuses and achieved statuses. An ascribed status is a status that you have no choice about. In other words, it's like given to you. For instance, male or female. For instance, being somebody's son or daughter. For instance, your age, okay? For instance, your race. You don't go, well, let's see, do I want to be this racial group or that racial group? Do I want to be that person's son or daughter? No, you're somebody's son or daughter. You're of this race, you're of this age, you're a male or female. And ascribed statuses are assigned to you. And if you think about it, they limit your individuality too, because, people start thinking, well, you're Hispanic. All Hispanics must be Catholic. See, they're stereotyping you. They start thinking, well, you must be a Catholic, Or they might stereotype you in some other ways. They might say, oh, you're Hispanic male. Aren't you macho? Because aren't Hispanic males, again, another stereotype, says you have to be macho. So you see again how status and roles can limit your individuality. There's also achieved statuses, and achieved roles are ones like being a student, getting married, being a parent, your occupation. Achieved means it's something you did for your own efforts. So let's review this again. A status is your rank in society. It's a position in society. People are ranked higher and lower based on age and occupation and gender and race and many different things. And with that ranking comes privileges. Role is a behavior expected by virtue of its status. It's how you have to behave. Like, I'm a teacher, I have to behave a certain way. I'm supposed to, at least. Like, I've been criticized for not dressing like a teacher. Hasn't done any good. So the role is the behavior expected by the status. An ascribed status, and we say ascribed statuses and roles, is one that you are assigned to. You have no choice. Your age, your race, okay, your gender. These are all examples of ascribed statuses. Achieved statuses are statuses that you achieve through your own effort. And through your own effort, you're able to be a student. You're able to get a certain job or get married or become a parent, okay? But don't forget, status and roles limit your individuality because you are expected to behave a certain way. Now, in the next video, we're going to talk about master status and how master status is a special status, and it can also very much so limit your individuality.